In today's video, we're going to be doing unboxing and review for a new battery operated brad nailer I just picked up. So I recently just picked up this new 18 gauge battery operated brad nailer from Metabo. So for the last little while, I've been considering getting myself a battery brad nailer. So in cases where I'm just doing a couple pieces of trim, maybe a piece of casing, I've always found it pretty annoying to have to pull out my compressor, my hose, get my gun ready to just fire in a few nails. So I just had a bit of a problem pulling the trigger on spending $300 to $400 on just a brad nailer from Milwaukee or Makita. And then I saw this one come up on sale online for $199. So this Metabo 18 gauge brad nailer came with a gun, a battery, and a charger. So I figured for 200 bucks, I'll give it a try. So this is going to be my first Metabo tool. I have mainly Milwaukee and Makita tools. So I kind of was leaning on the fence. There wasn't many reviews on this gun, but I figured for $200, it's worth giving it a shot here. So let's jump in and see what this gun comes with. So the packaging right away is pretty minimal. You've got a couple manuals and some information and my purchase receipt. I've got the gun here, as well as the charger, the battery, and it looks like it also comes with a set of glasses and belt clip. So one of the reviews I had seen online when I was looking at this tool is that it doesn't come with a bag or a carrying case. So I did know someone that had an old Metabo hard case. It's from a drill, so I gotta do a little bit of customizing in the box, but the gun should be able to fit into it. So right away, that's one drawback, but I guess for $200, you can't really expect that. With this being more of a budget-friendly brad nailer, the reason I went with it is because it did come with a battery plus a charger. If it was only the tool, I would have ended up biting the bullet eventually and going with a Makita or Milwaukee because I've already got a bunch of tools. I don't have to move onto that platform, but now that it comes with these items, I can move onto that platform for a few more tools if I like. So the gun does have some pretty basic specs, which is nice. It looks like on a single charge, you should be able to shoot up to 700 nails. It doesn't specify though what size of nails those are going to be. Looking at the gun here, you have a lock, so you can switch it into the lock formation, so the trigger will not allow you to fire. We'll drop it out of lock and you'll be able to pull the trigger here. Like a standard brad nailer, the release is on the bottom here. It is a full plastic sleeve here. It does feel like decent quality here, but we'll see how it holds up. I don't think it would do well if you were to drop it. The nailer has a depth adjustment here with some symboling, which is nice, so you know if you're all the way down to the left, you're going to be firing out. If you go all the way to the right, you'll be firing deeper. On the top, it also does have a release here for jam. So you can pop this open up, pull your jam out. And reclose it. For the belt clip, it does give you the option to install on the left or the right, which is nice. So I prefer mine on the left, so let's throw that on. So now that we have a belt clip on and a fully charged battery, we're going to do some testing with it. One thing though I did notice that I don't really like is there's no size guide here on the actual sleeve. So it's not a big problem for me because I know what kind of brads I have in my truck at all times, but if I'm working with someone and they've grabbed it and I'm not sure what size was in here before, it's a nice guide to be able to tell when you look in here, and it'll tell you what size is already inside. And one final other thing I just noticed is the sleeve is actually not big enough to fit two full sleeves in here at once. So I'm just going to throw a sleeve and a half in here and we're ready to do some testing. So now that we're ready to do the testing, I've got my battery and I have my lock on, so you can see the trigger's not going to allow me to depress it. We'll swap the lock off. So now as I depress the guide up here on the front, we'll be able to fire the brads. I don't have any trim or casing that needs to be installed, so what we're going to use instead is just a little bit of this 1/2 inch material here. We're going to play around with the depth adjustment and see how it does with this material. So I've got it all the way back. We're going to open it up just about halfway, and what we'll do is we'll fire it onto 2 pieces here, and we'll see how this works. I'm using just 1 1/4 inch brads right now. So that was good. A little proud here, but again, we're only about half in on the depth adjustment. So we're going to fire it off on a single piece here. We'll see how it does. Same thing, no issues, just a little proud here. So let's adjust the depth adjustment here, and we'll see how this fires. So we've got the depth maxed as far as it'll go, and we're going to shoot through 3 pieces here, and we're going to see if it does make it all the way through. Again, we're actually flush here all the way through, and it did manage to go through all 3 pieces. There's quite a bit of a depth adjustment on here, which is nice. So that's all the way proud there, so we'll give it a few more. And that's max. And that sinks us all the way here. A nice feature is the gun does have 2 lights here on each side, so if you're working in a dark space, you've got light running off both directions, which will illuminate your working area, which is great. So pretty clearly this gun has 0 issues shooting through 3 layers of 1/2 inch wood here. So what we're going to do is we've got our depth adjustment all the way down, and I've got about 1.5 sleeves still inside the gun. We're going to just fire off all these nails here into these 3 layers and see if we happen to hit a jam or anything, and we'll see how it does. Alright, so here are the results for the rapid test. I only had 1 nail blow out, and it's because I think I shot too close and hit the other nail, so it wouldn't actually input, but there was no lag time on rapid firing like that. The nice thing is there's an indicator here on the sleeve, so when you run dry, you'll see the yellow markings in here. When you've got brads left, you'll be able to see them feed their way through. As well as when you fire, there's an audible difference between firing and being dry. So this upcoming week, I have a small bathroom that I'm going to be trimming out. So I'm going to use this and get some actual use on trim with this and some casing to see how this does. So it may take a little bit of time to work with the adjustment to make sure you're not sinking too deep, but that'll be a little bit of trial and error for the first few days. Once I have a hang on the depth adjustment, if I'm using MDF or hardwood casing and baseboards, I'll know kind of where that needs to be. So when I'm a little bit more comfortable with the gun and I've had a bit more use with it, I'm going to do an actual review letting you know how it's been holding up and if this 700 nails per charge is accurate in my opinion. Overall, the first impressions with this gun is really good. It's got a bit of weight to it, but nothing really heavier than other guns I've used. For the $200 price tag, I definitely say this is a buy. If you do have any questions about this gun, leave me a comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.